Hello. That was my Albed, guys. It was pretty good, right? Rin just taught us how to say nice to meet you. Heli do sadwe to you too. So we're here with the cool music on the Mihen High Road. Something's going on. You remember earlier on in the High Road, we heard that there was a big fiend attacking chocobos. Now, we haven't really seen many chocobos. We've seen the chocobo knights, but we haven't seen too many chocobos. But apparently, now that we're Rin's travel agency, we had a nice sleep. We had a good chat with Yuna last night. We learned her opinions about Machina. And, yeah, we woke up to hear, apparently, this big monster's around. And as Titus would say, it's the right thing to do to attack it. So I'm going to do a little bit of prep before this battle to ensure we do kind of well on it. And I'm going to charge one of my Aeon's overdrives, and that would be Ifrit's. So Ifrit's a character you guys haven't actually seen me play that much. You know, we got him in Killiker. We summoned him once just for demonstration purposes. On the Mihen High Road, we...
Be strong.
Okay, you know, sure. On the Mihen High Road, we fought against Belgamine, who used her own Ifrit, but we haven't actually used him that much. Certainly, we've seen his regular attack. We've seen Meteor Strike, I think. But we have not seen his overdrive. Valifor, of course, has 2 overdrives. I've made the joke that they should have, you know, given all the dogs in the game various overdrives. But they didn't in this game, so he only gets 1. His overdrive's called Hellfire. It's a really iconic thing about summons in Final Fantasy games. Particularly Ifrit usually gets Hellfire as his big attacks. So we're going to dismiss him there. I don't know whether I already mentioned this. I uploaded the video in Besaid today, or yesterday, where somebody left in the comments, just as we got Valifor, someone left in the comments said, hey, you haven't really explained that summons are a big deal in Final Fantasy. I thought I had, but in case I didn't, they are a big deal. They're in a lot of the games. Not all of them, but they are in a lot of the games. They don't always function the same way as summons do in 10. As in we get to fight with them. Often you would summon, summon a summon, and it would just use its big attack straight away. So Ifrit's big attack has usually just been Hellfire, and that's his overdrive in this game. So anyway, we've got that charge. We will definitely check that out in just a second when we get into the fight. Now, the fight itself is kind of interesting, has a few things that you're going to want to consider while killing the enemy, which I'll get to in a moment. We're just going to flee here.
How much further do we have to go?
We have to go a long way, Titus. A long way. He actually started saying that now because he's heard that we're going to Zanakin. So now Titus has a bit more motivation to join us. He's not just being dragged along by Auron anymore. He's actually... He wants to go see it for his own eyes. That's like his motivation as a character to stay on this pilgrimage here. Okay, so the Chocobo Corral, you might not actually know. I don't know what happens if you try and run up this way. Does anything happen? I guess it just triggers. But it's actually behind the travel agency. Oh, there's the Chocobos. And there's the feed. I adore the music in that section, by the way. It's so cool. It actually changes the earlier areas of the High Road 2 to that music, just in case you want to, like, go back and train, because this is one of the first difficult bosses in the game, I would say. I certainly remember having fled constantly on my first playthrough of the game ever, struggling a little. What we're going to do straight away is we're going to haste Titus, because he's going to become a bit of a haste bot here. We're going to give ourselves an awful lot of speed. Now, something interesting to note is this boss has 10,000 health. He has a lot of health. It's going to take a lot of whittling down to kill him. You'll also notice he's weak to fire damage, and that's why we charge Hellfire. Hellfire is a fire damage attack, so really strong, useful to know about, but we're not actually going to use Yuna just yet. She's sort of unnecessary. Instead, we're going to swap in Waka, and we're going to use Dark Attack, because also you'll see that because we have Scan on, or Sensor Weapons, it says up there that he is vulnerable to darkness. So we'll throw this ball at him, but also Waka actually is wearing an elemental weapon that is not of the correct element. So he's actually going to do less damage than he otherwise should, but by trying to swap a weapon here, you'll notice he doesn't get an extra turn anyway, so we're just going to go Dark Attack. Let's start chipping that health down. 10,000 health. We just did 42 damage, baby. So look, now his attacks are going to start missing. Lulu here can cast fire magic, obviously, on the enemy because he's weak to that. She also has her overdrive available. I'm actually not going to use the overdrive. Now, her overdrives are called Fury and basically allows her to chain cast tons and tons of black magic. We'll get to it later. And the reason I don't want to cast this overdrive will become apparent in a second because of the way this encounter works. So we're going to cast fire on this Chocobo Eater here. and do 300 damage. So we've done about 400 damage to him right now. As you can see there, he's got 97 health left before he's at the 9,500 mark. So what we're going to do is try and attack with Tidus. Now you'll notice he gets 2 turns in a row here, which is awesome. It actually allows us, A, to swap to a better weapon. The Brotherhood, for example, which doesn't have this ice element on it. Could have done this before fighting. And second, we're going to cast haste on Lulu here, which is going to give her another go before the Chocobo gets a go. The Chocobo Eater gets a go, sorry. Not the Chocobo. Funny enough, you do get Chocobos in random encounters in the sequel. Alright, Whacker's done his job inflicting darkness, so we're going to throw in Auron here. We're going to use Power Break on the boss. This is going to reduce the amount of damage he does, even if he does get an attack through. Think of him as just like a really big, scary-looking Garuda, right? Should we maybe use our Overdrive? I mean, it can't hurt too much, can it? Alright, let's use it. Okay, so these are called Fury, right? Lulu has tons of different overdrives. She gets a new overdrive for every bit of black magic she ever knows. And as I say, it lets you chain cast any of the black magics in the game. So she only has 4 at the moment because that's what she started with. You could actually have the next tier up by this point if you've been grinding a lot, but obviously we're not in that situation. So we're going to cast Fire Fury just because he's weak to fire. And the way this overdrive works is obviously a PlayStation controller, PS1, even the DualShock, PS2, and PS3, they've all got, and PS4, Jesus. Oh, they've all got analog sticks, right? This isn't a surprise to anyone. The right analog stick, you have to spin clockwise as fast as you possibly can, and the more revolutions you get, the more casts she will make. There is a cap to it, but it's going to be very hard to get the cap, and I actually don't know the best technique. I personally use the palm of my hand. And this is actually, honestly, something I kind of miss about video gaming on a console, so we'll cast it here. The idea that, oh god, go, 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 spin, 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 go for 7, 8 maybe? Yeah, okay, we've got 8 spells. So you'll see that the fire attacks are slightly weaker, but because we get so many, they can be quite strong. And now he's fallen over.
Attack now! Push it back!
So because he's fallen over, he actually lost his turn. It skipped his turn, which is awesome. And there's going to be a mechanic that comes into play here. Just to finish my thought about Fury, I love console games and the fact that, like, you never really experience this on PC, or I don't too much. The idea of, like, how do you hold the controller for best effects? You know, like, it's playing a video game, but it's also affecting the way you interface with that video game, which is really awesome. So here's something else, okay? That was Fury we just demonstrated. Here's something new that Tidus has learned on his Sphere Grid since last episode. Well, yeah, I had it last episode, I just didn't demonstrate it. It's this ability here called Delay Attack. Now, let me just bring something to your attention. If we attack regularly with Tidus, he gets another go, so there is no point to do anything else, right? So there you go, we did 200 damage. Now, he also has this ability here called Delay Attack. This delays the action of an enemy. This is the same as Valifor's Sonic Wings. As I say, Tidus, all of his abilities are around time and the ATB window, right? So, we're going to use Delay Attack, and look at what happens to the boss. It pushes his turn back a bit. Now, not the entire way, and this isn't going to be the best demonstration of what Delay Attack looks like, so maybe we'll save that. Instead, what we're going to do is haste Auron, so that all 3 of the characters on the field are all super quick. Now, Lulu gets another turn. I'm going to have her cast Fire on the Chocobo Eater. And now, because we've done 500 damage to him while he's fallen on his back, he's been pushed further away, back towards the cliff edge over there. Now, what's fantastic about that is there's multiple things going on in this fight. Number 1, we can just kill the Chocobo Eater. We can get him down to 0 health from his initial 10,000. Number 2, he could kill us and we get game over. Number 3, you see how he just pushed us back? He will occasionally do that, and if we're not putting out enough damage quick enough to him, he'll keep pushing us back, and we'll end up falling off the cliff behind us. The story branches here. If you manage to kill the Chocobo Eater, different things happen than if he knocks you off that cliff. If you fall off the cliff, it's not game over. The story actually continues in a different way. Not a significant way, but it does. There is also one final hidden way to finish this. You can fight for your life and stop yourself trying to get knocked off of that cliff there. But you can also... So, did he get power breaked before? I don't think he did. I think it failed. So, let's try it again. But you can also knock him off of the cliff behind him. And that's particularly difficult to do. It really is. You're going to have to use a lot of this stuff. So, look at Delay Attack here, okay? We try and use Delay Attack, and the boss goes way down on the action gauge. So, we'll do it here. And there you go. Now, Tidus is doing absolutely abysmal damage there. We may have to do something about that. So we'll bring Lulu in with a fire. Did Kimari ever get a fire lance? I can't remember whether he did or not. Auron's doing respectable damage, I would say. So, and he's still not power broke. I don't care about that, though. We're just going to start attacking. So you have to do a certain amount of damage to the boss. I mean, 72 is just so low. Why is it so low? You have to do a certain amount of damage to the boss to make him fall over. And now that he's fallen over... we have to do, and you'll see he's skipped his turn now, so look at how long it is before the boss gets another go. It's fantastic, right? So what we can do here is attack the boss, for 230 damage. Delay attack the boss, pushing his turn even further away. And one final attack from Lulu should knock him back, like so. Now, the game is obviously trying to knock him off the cliff without killing him. And to do that, you really need a little bit of luck, I would say, honestly. I mean, we can go put Dark Attack on him again with Whacker every now and then. With Dark Attack, hopefully that will stop him knocking us all back. I don't know whether it changes his AI or anything, honestly. But so we'll do that, and we'll try and knock him over again. So he's almost at about half his initial health. So I charged Ifrit's Overdrive Hellfire, and I will show that to you guys, but it's basically just an option in this fight. See, you can try and use Hellfire, and you'll overkill the boss, but actually by default, the Chocobo Eater doesn't drop anything. He'll give you experience, and he'll maybe drop equipment, I believe, but he actually doesn't drop any items. So Whack is now out of MP, he's used his 2 abilities, so we'll come back with Oran here, who's got haste, and hopefully he'll knock him over. No, he didn't. So there you go. Because he had darkness, he didn't knock us back. So once again, we will... Tidus is now out of MP. I could throw an ether on him. I'm actually not going to bother with that. We're just going to start hammering the boss. We'll go another fire cast here. Hopefully that will knock him over. But yeah, the boss doesn't drop any items. So the best thing to do is to knock him off the cliff. If you manage to get that like hidden ending, knock him off the cliff, you actually get bonus stuff. You get 2 level 1 key spheres. Or if you get the rare proc, you get... 4 level 1 key spheres, which is pretty cool. So, you know, they've just introduced key spheres to us. We're just starting to get a feel of what they're like, and this is their way of sort of rewarding us in that extra capacity. So we use fire here again. This should knock him back. He'll automatically stand up. But look, he's right on the cliff edge now. He's right on the cliff. He's still got darkness on him, so that's fine. Tidus really doesn't do very much, so... Should I attack? Yeah, I'm just going to attack him. Fine. So, look, even though he had darkness, he's pushed us back, and that's knocked us further away from the cliff. That kind of sucks. Oran's Overdrive is back up, so let's have a look at this. Yeah, so we can do a lot of damage here. So he's got the Bushido attacks. We saw this right at the start of the game, and you'll see the description of Dragon Fang says that it just damages all enemies at the top. What you might not notice, though, is this actually puts delay on the boss. Look at how it's reduced the boss's turn. So there was actually, funnily enough, before we had Valor 4, before we had Tidus with delay attack, we actually already had a delay ability right at the beginning of the game, Dragon Fang. So that's what this thing does. You may remember me doing this from the beginning of the game. It's the one where you go down, left, up, right, L1, R1, 0X. You can actually use the analog stick to proc that really quickly. I used to be an expert at it when I was a lot younger. Not so much anymore, so we'll ignore that. We'll cast fire. It should knock it over. And yeah, you know, it's a game. Now, the funny thing you can do is heal the Chocobo Eater. And that may be what I end up resorting to here. So, Tidus is also kind of low. Oran should knock him over here. No, geez, okay, he's still standing up. That's not good. There we go, down he goes. And he's going to have a turn. But while he's on the floor, all he's going to do is cast magic. So what I'm going to do here is swap Tidus for Yuna. And because he summons ice magic, I'm going to cast Null Frost on my team. Shield us from frigid blight. There you go. Oh, he didn't do anything at all. Okay, that's fine. So look, we're going to do one attack here, which is 240 damage. Oh, I guess he just counters with Blizzard while he's falling over. That's interesting. And now we will do another one here. See, also the AI of the enemies and the attacks they do does change depending on... So here, he's going to get a turn soon, and we can only hope he won't use his big knockback attack. But just to be on the safe side, I'm actually going to heal the boss here. You can cure enemies, you can throw potions on enemies, whatever you like. It may have actually been smarter for me to have kept Tidus on the field and instead thrown potions instead of bringing Yuna in. But I at least want her to have a turn since we're not going to be summoning Ifrit. And yeah, so I hope I did make that clear to you guys. Basically, what we've got is you can try and overkill the boss with Ifrit, get double the experience, or you can try and knock him off the cliff and get the key spheres. So he did it again. This is a real annoyance, frankly. But, you know, we're just going to have to deal with it. Let's just keep pushing damage on. How much health he got left is what I'm wondering right now. He has 1,000, so we're going to have to do something slightly drastic when Yuna gets a turn. And what I mean by that is we're going to swap Tidus back in, and we're going to use... Just because I don't really care. I think my philosophy, okay, with these games is just use items. Honestly, by the time you get to end game, it really doesn't matter how much... I suppose we could even throw an X potion at him and heal him to 100%, but we're not going to do that. You know, by the time you get to endgame, you're going to start getting tons of these items, and I'm really not that worried. So I'm actually going to throw a Mega Potion. We kind of need the health too. Let's throw it on us first. Now, you can use items in other ways later on, and then I'm going to throw a High Potion on the boss to heal him for 1,000 health. Now, if you remember the generator, so he's using an ability called You're Next. I believe that means he's going to use a death attack soon, which would just be instant down. So you know how we knocked him over there? This is the same as the generator at the start of the game. Do you remember I told you can heal that generator and it will still like break and damage? So even though theoretically he's not on lower health, his health's not been reduced low enough, it doesn't matter. Like, we can still knock him over. We still did that threshold of damage. So there we go. We will use another fire attack. There's the counter, but she still has Null Frost, which is awesome. Tidus is going to use another High Potion on him to put him back to 2,000. By the way, on my test file, I will be clear about this. On my test file, he needs an ether. We need to start delay attacking again, just to stop the bastard from knocking us back when he stands up again. So we'll do that. Yeah, on my test file, I actually did this without healing the boss. What you need is just a lot of very quick attacks, and hopefully you'll be alright. So there you go. He stood up. He's got one turn in a second. Hopefully he doesn't knock us back. How's his health doing? Tidus has basically become a healer for the enemy here. We'll go one more, because it doesn't matter his health. If you knock him off the cliff, it's just going to instantly kill him. Ah, god damn you, man. What are you doing? Stop it. Alright, okay. So now that he's got this, we can delay attack the boss. You can actually start delay attacking the boss multiple times. Like, you can chain a delay attack with, say, Auron's Overdrive. And now we're cooking with fire, right? Cooking with fire, is that the same? I think it is. So yeah, we'll try and knock him back. Really, I'm sort of running out of things to say here on this fight. This is the way it works. One thing that's kind of interesting, this is actually the second recording of this I have done. Mainly because the first one I messed up big time. There's an enemy you can spawn at the end of the game. Now, this is the only fiend that looks like this while we're playing, okay? So we'll heal him again. And then we will delay attack. Like so. And what we'll do here, this could be pretty cool. So we will pass Auron's turn, we'll pass Lulu's turn, and then pass their extra turns they just got because they defended. Now he's lost his turn. So now, if we make him stand up, if we knock him back, he's not going to get a turn instantly and be able to push us back straight away. And there's a good chance we might be able to knock him down again before he can push us back. And then that would have him over the cliff. So, here we go. He's going to get... we're not going to have enough damage. I'm sure we're not. Self-destruct, by the way, on Kimahri is amazing here. Which is why at the end of the last episode, you might have seen me. I was like, should I do it? Should I not? So, here we go. Let's just try and knock him down. Come on. If we can knock him down before his go, it would be fantastic. Hopefully, we don't kill him. How low is his health getting? 1,000. Another delay attack. We might have this, guys. I just can't have him die. I cannot have the boss die. So 900 health. Come on, Lulu. Knock him over with this. Knock him over. He's not going to have much health left. Thankfully, magic can't crit, so there's no risk here. There you go. All right, so he's fallen over. He can no longer knock us back, but he's incredibly low on health, so we have the high potion. So there you go. Heal him. Heal him. And then we'll do 500 damage, and we've got it. Okay, so fire, and then one attack from Auron should be fine. Yeah, this is the second recording I've done because there's another enemy you can spawn at the end of the game that looks exactly the same as this. There are no other fiends in the game that look like this guy, and the one you can spawn at the end of the game drops fortune spheres. And if you guys remember, I've been bitching about how hard it is to find fortune spheres in Final Fantasy X. And I incorrectly thought on my previous recording that he actually did drop them. This one here did, which is why I wanted the overkill. But there you go, we knocked him off. This isn't easy to do, but you get that cool little animation, and he busts into fireflies. That little, image that appears near his head is really interesting to me. So, because we did that, we get a bunch of stuff. I never actually gave Kimahri a turn, sadly. But you see there, we got 2 level 1 key spheres. Now, if you really wanted, you could keep grinding this until you get the rare drop. And then you get 4 key spheres, but we're not going to bother about that. Kimahri gets a blue armlet. We'll have a look at what that does in a second, but I'm pretty sure it's just Water Ward. And there you go.
Have you an interest in renting some chocobos? As a token of our gratitude, the first time is free of charge. Please, ask the attendant if you wish to rent.
Thank you so much for saving the chocobos.
And there you go. So, what I will do as well is we'll get to a point later. Now, if we'd failed that, we would have fallen off this cliff down here. And you can actually see on the map, there's a slight suggestion that there's a path down there. And that's because, indeed, there is one. So, when we get to that path, I'll be doing a bit of backtracking. I'll show you guys the cutscene of what it looks like. I'll edit it in of if we had fallen off. But basically, your reward for that are the level 1 key spheres, which is great. But also, the first time you want to ride a Chocobo on the high road, they will actually allow you to do that for free. And what's very interesting about that is when you're riding a Chocobo, you have no encounters. So this is basically a way for free to skip the rest of the road. You can now just do that without having any encounters and get to the entire next area. Obviously, I'm not going to take advantage of that, but it's there.
Appreciate this thing you have done. Drigwi. It means I thank you.
Directly. There you go. I quite like that in the comments. Some people have been speaking to me in Albed. It's been awesome. Like, so cool. Alright, so we will save. Thank God for that. And yeah, in the other recording as well, I didn't knock him off the cliff, and I just felt bad about it. It was like a 20-minute video, and I was like, screw it! That's the price of quality, people. So this guy here says, welcome to Rin's travel agency. This dude is a boss. His name is Rop. He is actually one of the best Blitzball players in the entire game. He's amazing. We're not going to do any signing just yet. I will return here later once we're done with the Mihen High Road. I may have a Blitzball special episode. Maybe it will go up unlisted or something, so it's not a part of the regular series. Because it's like I said, I want to play Blitzball at each stage where I go to, but I also don't want to bog them down with tons of Blitzball matches, so that might be what I end up doing. Anyway, this guy says, man, I'm beat. I woke up early for nothing. Sure. Alright, we're done with that. We don't need to do anything in there anymore. We already got the Albed Primer. We got the items in there, the 2 Mega Potions. Let me be clear as well, the Mega Potion thing is not smart. I wouldn't use them, really. It's not an efficient use of them. But, you know, you don't have to be totally efficient all the time. Anyway, so there you go. We're now done with this stuff. We'll push on up. Over here's where Una was set, by the way. I sort of wish you could come back here when it was at sunset. And you'll notice way off in the distance there, I'll zoom in, you can see a save sphere. What the hell is that? Interesting. Some of you more eagle-eyed players may have noticed something like that in Besaid also. But we're not going to know about that for a long time. Just know that it's there, and in like a bazillion episodes, I'll be like, hey guys, remember this? I also thought something quite interesting. In the previous episodes, I've really been playing this, overplaying in my opinion, this idea that there's multiple things going on. Basically, you know, the sequel's going to reveal there's like another story going on in tandem to what's happening right now. And it's funny, because I kind of, in the sequel as well, there's a totally other thing that sets up like a mystery, a detective thing here in the high road, and I feel like I've been like trying to show that to you guys. Anyway, so, we already demonstrated Lulu's thing too, didn't we? I guess we'll just flee from these enemies. I do want to do a couple of fights, and you may just see some cutting. I think fleeing permanently would be a really bad idea, because not only am I going to be underpowered, but I'm going to be so underpowered, there's no way I'll really be able to function in any of the bosses. They'll be hard, but too hard, and possibly even frustrating to watch. So, like these guys, I'll probably kill. You know, I sometimes wonder if there's code in the game that means you get random encounters that your frontliners can specifically deal with. So, like there, we had a dingo, we had an elemental, and we had an armored dude, right? And that's what all 3 of the characters I had already out specialized in killing. But then this one I would need to swap in Whacker, so who knows. One actual thing I should mention is that in this game,
No worries.
all these encounters aren't 100% random. Like, within the Mihen High Road, if I stand at a certain place in the high road, I am more likely to find some fiends than if I stand in another place of the high road. And I don't mean across like different screens, I mean on the same screen. So like later on there's like dungeons.
Where's a chocobo when you need one?
What do you mean where's a chocobo when you need one? We chose not to have one. So yeah, like in some dungeons, like it means if you're stood in a green area of that dungeon, you'll find like a certain enemy that only spawns there, or much more frequently there. So yeah, it's something to consider. Oh, Shilinda. Brilliant. Funnily enough, I don't remember that happening on my test file. And on my test file, I was on a chocobo at this point. So I wonder if that only appears if you chose not to ride a chocobo. Curious. I think the game's really smart here because it sort of balances itself out, right? It says to you, look, if you were too weak to kill or not good enough at the game to kill the Chocobo Eater on your first time around, then maybe you should get knocked off the cliff. and you are forced to walk, right? And yes, you can choose to continue fleeing, but by forcing people to walk, you're making it so that those people get more powerful, while the guys who are strong enough to kill the Chocobo Eater or even knock him off the cliff, then those people are probably sort of powerful already as it is, and they're allowed to skip all the encounters if they like. Anyway, so here you'll find an Albed Primer, easily missed. This is number 9, which means we are still in order. If you remember, the previous one was number 8. E is equal to I. It's funny because I always think, oh yeah, every time I get a vowel, it's brilliant because it means that I'm going to learn Albed quicker. But really, you just don't understand anything any of them say until you've got like 20 out of all of the characters of the alphabet, and then you're fine. I didn't mean to do that. I thought I was in control of Waka. So here's something very cool I never really talked to you guys about. More sort of deep mechanics of the game stuff many people wouldn't know about. But it's the way that critical hits work in this game. So I already told you guys that luck is like the biggest thing about critical hits. The higher your luck is, the more likely you are to crit. You'll notice we don't crit that much. But there's a funny thing. All the gear you get in the game, weapons and armor, have base chance... Oh, why did I cast fire on that? What the hell is wrong with me? What the hell is wrong with me? That was ridiculous. Okay, never mind. Let's just provoke. Why not? Because Titus... Actually, no, let's bring Kamari in, because he really hasn't had many turns lately. And Kamari, funnily enough, once we've made him more of a black mage, he can start using Lancet to kill certain things that you wouldn't be accurate for otherwise. So right now the damage is atrocious, but yeah. So all weapons and armor have a base chance to crit on them. And that is not listed in the game. The only things that are listed in the game are like the bonuses. So stuff like, okay, this gives you Flame Strike. This makes you resistant to dark. This makes you inflict dark. Stuff like that, right? But it turns out all gear, weapons and armor, have a 4% innate chance to boost your critical hit. And so this means that even players with no luck at all, so because Waka's got an ice weapon equipped, we can attack the bomb. And he crit, there you go. Perfect demonstration, he managed to kill it. So all the stuff in the game has that plus 4%. Funnily enough, for some weird reason, weapons dropped by bombs have a higher chance to crit. It's like an 8th more or something, like a 16th more. I would have had the specific stat, but my notepad file's gone. But yeah, so they actually have a higher chance. Only weapons that they drop, so not armor. So even though we did just get this off of that guy, so the magic one, it doesn't really matter. Really, really kind of crazy that just these enemies, all the way through the game, the bombs alone, if you equip a weapon dropped by a bomb, you will do more damage with it. And right at the end of the game as well, there's other special gear that gives you more stuff that you would never know about unless you looked in the code too. But we'll get to that when we come. Anyway, so hey Shalinda, you talking to Mihen here?
Word has gotten around about me. Now all the Crusaders are ignoring me.
Wow.
Word has gotten around about me. Now all the Crusaders are ignoring me.
But am I supposed to feel sorry for her? Well, let's be real for a second. Am I supposed to feel sorry for her? I just don't really like her that much. All right, this guy.
Would you like to hear about the highroad?
Absolutely. Please.
We are currently traveling a part of the Mihen highroad called the New Road. Naturally, that suggests that there is or was an old road.
Uh-huh.
The road that runs below this new road is the original Mihen highroad. Hence, the road that Lord Mihen walked is not this road, but the old road. The new road was built to replace the old road destroyed by sin 500 years ago. But sometimes, standing on the old road and reminiscing about the past can be a pleasurable pastime.
Oh man, that's interesting. I want to go there now.
The new road was built to replace...
Okay, and then he just repeats that dialogue. Do you know what? I would love to be this dude. Traveling the world, seeing the sights, no real risk. I mean, he must be a powerful fighter, right? If he's just running around, this old man and is not really concerned of the fiends. And just teaching people stuff. People who really need to know stuff. I love him. I think he's awesome. It's funny, in the sequel... you can speak to him, and while he talks, the exposition he gives about Spira is much longer. He gives so much more information. And so what they do in the game is... Let's use extractability here, by the way. What they do in the game is they make it so that he's rambling and rambling and rambling, and you can actually choose to skip what he says. Like, messages will come up saying that you're bored, and you can choose to, like, cut him off. And you can totally do that. If you want, as a player, you can be like, oh, I'm bored. But to get 100% in that game, like the whole game is really about getting 100% or some more, right? If you choose to skip anything he says through these huge rambling dialogues, it will strip you of your 100%, and it will be impossible to get the perfect ending of the game. Well, not impossible, but it will be much harder to get the perfect ending of the game. How awesome is that? That's so cool. I really like what they did in that game. But here it's just an option. Do you want to speak to him or not? So here we find 2 high potions, replace some of the ones we threw at the Chocobo Eater earlier. There's some kids here. We're Crusaders too, we got a lot of work to do. My job is cleaning up everyone's stuff, and I'm delivering food for the soldiers. Big job, huh? Man, that's kind of... See, do you know what I said before? That some of the dialogue is actually kind of poignant? Excusing my dumb reading of that. It's actually kind of cool. What would you have kids do if they wanted to help out as the Crusaders? This is the kind of thing that they do. The operation is going to start soon. All civilians must leave. What if you don't? Then Sin's going to eat you. Mum said Sin eats bad people. Yikes. Wow, okay, so we're a bad person, are we? Really cool. And, you know, maybe it says something about Crusaders, too, that they're actually enlisting children to help work with them. Maybe it just says something about Spear in general, that people don't live to get that old, and enlisting kids to fight is something that would make sense in this universe. And it's funny, actually, because there are no, like, blatant children that join your party in this game. A lot of JRPGs do that. One of my favourite JRPGs of all time is a game called Lost Odyssey. It was made after FF10. It's not actually a Final Fantasy game, but it's basically made by the same guys that did it, and very, very similar to this game in a lot of ways. But that game annoys me because it introduces 2, like, children characters. They're Lil and Phil from the Rugrats, for the record, the voice actors for them. And they're okay, but I always feel like it ruins it. It's such a mature adult story, and then these kids come in and you're forced to play with them. It still sucks. Anyway.
Gee, Captain Lucille and Elma should have been here by now.
You know, it's really funny. This guy's called Clasko.
What's taking Elma so long?
This is the first time we've really heard him speak.
Gee,
I believe this is the first time we've heard him speak. He's been there in the background when Lucille and Elma are about, who seem to be missing, curious. But he was never really saying much. He was just like the incompetent guy that was flying around. And funnily enough, he becomes a much bigger character than either of those other 2 do. Much bigger. So there's this lady here. She'll actually let us ride a chocobo for free if we want. There's a note here that I believe the guy who did that blog talking about all the stuff to translate. It's too small res, low res, even in the HD remake to read, which sucks.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm a summoner?
Sorry, ma'am. No exceptions.
You dare impede a summoner's pilgrimage?
Sorry, ma'am. No exceptions.
Useless.
So it's Donna and Bartello. Sup?
Oh, it's you. As you can see, not even summoners can pass. But they'll call on us in the end. Just wait and see. In the meantime, I think I'll have a nap.
Man.
Bartello.
God, she's annoying. I think her voice actress is great, just the way she talks. Jesus. I also find myself wondering, I talked about how slutty her clothes are, and yet they're not even sexy. I find myself wondering right now whether anyone has ever cosplayed as her, and it actually does look good. It's just the game makes it look horrible. I don't know, I just don't really like such thick fishnets. Ugh. And whatever the hell she's going on with the rest of the clothes is just horrible. Right, this guy.
The Mushroom Rock Road is off limits to non-Crusader personnel until the end of the mission.
So Mushroom Rock Road. It's named after the shape of the rocks that in that area. It's much more rocky terrain. This is the most northern end of the Mihen highroad. We're basically the end here, guys. So let's quickly save. But unfortunately, it is blocked off, and the people there won't let us go through. They really won't. So what I'm going to do instead is do a little bit of backtracking. We do have one of these... what are they called again? I can't remember. Someone said their name before. One of these tutorial things, right? And it'll actually give us fiend information about enemies we will be encountering later on in the plot. These things here, the basilisks in particular, we won't encounter for a long time. So this says, equip armor that prevents petrification to protect yourself against its stone gaze. Using Aeons is also an option since they are immune to status. So what we can do, I'll attack it a few times. We can have Kamari, who is out, we'll blind it, I suppose. I kind of want it to use its stone breath because it will show just how strong these things are. But Kamari, of course, can scan enemies, so we'll use scan on it. I want to use this at least every now and then when possible. Because it's cool UI. Look at this thing. It's awesome. And so this says it's a basilisk. It has about 2,000 health. It says, beware the third eye. Its stone gaze may cause petrification. If petrified, restore it with an Azuna or soft. And then it says Kamari can learn stone breath. This is one of your best uses as someone going into this game blind of scan. Scan lets you know which enemies you can get abilities from. And so here we've got the basilisk, stone breath. And unfortunately, in the tutorial thing, so here it is, stone gaze. It missed Titus there, but it would have petrified him just as that lizard did back in... I don't think it petrified Titus, at least, but a lizard did do it to someone back in Kilika. But yeah, so unfortunately, in these tutorial things, we could tell Kamari to lance it this boss. Or enemy, I should say. Not really a boss. but he won't actually learn the skill, and so this stops you sort of cutting ahead, having powerful moves before you should really have them. But yeah, just because of the way that the plot twists, geographically these enemies are very close to us, and it makes sense that this machine is teaching us about them. But in terms of the plot, it will be a while before we actually get to fight them. So anyway, there you go, he's dead. There's a couple more, but we'll encounter those just as we explore the game. So we'll move out. Alright, so yeah, before I go to that carriage, actually, I think I can afford to go to it the first time here. So what does this guy say?
Gata and Luzu reporting, sir.
This is the last of them.
Good to have you with us. Go on through.
Show me how to play Blitz sometime.
Wait around.
Wow, well, whatever the hell was in that didn't look very friendly. That looks like a monster in there. We'll get some explanation on that in just a moment. However, if I try and progress further up here, it's going to turn around and tell us, oh no, it's basically going to progress the story. So, instead, what we're going to do is visit the old road, not for too long, and indeed, do I want to ride a Chocobo? I think I do, so let's ride a Chocobo.
Oh, hello. No charge this time.
I like that line, but no one ever really speaks like her anyway. So here we go. How do you ride a Chocobo? We'll just explain how you climbed on it, so whatever. So we'll just go, let me ride one. And here we go. We are on a Chocobo, guys. So you can still interact with most things as you usually would. You can speak to characters.
The Mushroom Rock Road is off limits to non-Crusader personnel until the end of the mission.
See, so you can still pretty much interact with the game as normal. It's just you're much quicker, and there are no more random encounters. Later on in the game, like way later on in the game, you can get very powerful equipment that like fends away random encounters too. But that's not going to happen for us for a long while. So Chocobos are really nice. And with this thing, we can go all the way back to Luca immensely quickly. And in fact, that's what I'm going to use for Blitzball stuff very shortly. Anyway, so this is the old road. And what I'm going to do first is just run along here. Now, there are different themes that appear here on the old road. But many of the themes that appear on the old road actually are sort of themes you find in the next area too. So you don't have to worry too much about ever coming here or missing out on anything. So here's another Chocobo. And by pressing X, you can make it fly a little. Here's Lucille and Elmer, it looks like.
What are you doing on this road?
Oh, you know.
I see. The high road ends over there. However, we have sealed off the area beyond for the duration of our operation here. You may ask the gate captain up ahead if you need to pass through.
So she seems to think we should be able to get through, but yeah, and we certainly do need to get through. Now on the map, you'll notice there's a bunch of stuff on the terrain on the left over there, but we can't actually get there. It's a bunch of Chocobos jumping around. Now there is a mechanic in the game where you can jump on your Chocobo, which I'll show you in a second, but those areas over there are always off limits. It makes me think that maybe there was something in the game once, a mini game or something that was available up there, but now is just not available to us as players, and yet the mini-map is still there. Funnily enough, in the sequel, there is a hidden thing you can do with Chocobos that reveals a secret dungeon in that area of the game with some cool loot, but obviously that's not even in this game, so we don't have to worry. Now, by coming all the way down here, who do we find?
Coming down to the old road was a mistake. You can't run a business with no customers. Say, can I interest you in something?
What do you got? Let's have a look. Oh, Waka, you still don't really have any good wares, do you? So this is our last opportunity to invest in a Waka. Okay, he's on bad luck right now. He's not doing too well.
There are a lot of Crusaders about. I wonder what they're up to.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Awakas.
So, he's currently still not doing so hot, and we can lend gil to him. This is your last chance to give him a total of 10,000 gil. Now,
Spare some change, lad?
Now, I believe in my editing, I have worked out that I've already given him 5,000 gil, which means we only need to give him 5,000 gil now and we're done. However, to be safe, I'm going to give him 6,000, especially considering we have 12,000 to our name right now. Oh, there you go. It says in the bottom left. I'm such an idiot. I've already given him 5,000. All right, so we'll give him 5,001, right? And that's going to push us over 10,000 total donated to him. And that means that we get the maximum bargains later on in the game, right? There's basically different thresholds. You don't give him any money. He's a really expensive merchant who will rip you off. You give him a little bit of money. He's still an expensive merchant that rips you off, but not quite so bad. You give him even more, and he still rips you off. But if you give him over 10,000, he actually gives you wares for cheaper than than other people would, which is great. It's about 30% cheaper too. 10,000 is a mark you want to hit. And we are now done with this. You really want to lend me 5,001 gil? I swear.
Make it up to ye, that I will.
And as I explained before, it is debatable whether that is something you absolutely have to do, but I certainly would recommend it for my playthrough anyway, just so you guys get to see the dialogue that comes from it, stuff like that. If there even is any different dialogue. But yeah. Alright, so we'll save the game here. And if we had been knocked over by the Chocobo, then we would have landed down here. Exactly down here. Now, you can't see it on the map, but that is the cliff right here on the bottom left of the screen. That's where we would have fallen off. And so Owaka sort of serves as, oh, hey, you've fallen down here. Here's a merchant so you can stock up on healing items, stuff like that. Truth is, with Cure in the game, I don't know, it's not really necessary. I think one really casual but fun challenge to do in this game would be simply to never use Cure outside of battles, because that forces you to use potions and things, and then actually forces you to be interested in merchants, and keeps Gil, you know, a primary thing. We're getting to the point soon where we're not going to have to worry about Gil anymore. But here, look, we got something called the Mars Crest. That's interesting. Random chest out here in the middle of nowhere. Let's have a look in our items. It's actually a key item. Ah, look, we had a Moon Crest before, and now we've got a Mars Crest. Again, these are similar items. This item is related to Yuna, and this item here is related to Auron. But, you know, we're just not going to know for a while. So anyway, we've got a crest. The way the game works is there's lots of crests you can find in regular areas around the world, and there's other much more difficult items you can get for doing much more difficult things in other areas of the world. So we'll be collecting crests as we go through our adventure. Now, over here, you'll see, in this like weird little extra section, there's something yellow on the floor. Now, that's meant to be a Chocobo feather, right? If we press X on any Chocobo feather while riding a Chocobo, if you're on regular foot, it won't do anything. But if you do it while riding a Chocobo, your Chocobo gets a mind of its own and starts leaping around the environment and doing all kinds of cool stuff. And in this case, it gets us a chest with a fortune sphere. So, in my botched recording before, this is why I knew we got a fortune sphere on the Mihen highroad, but I didn't know where it was. So there you go, that's where it was. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to give that to Kimahri. Kimahri, who's gained another sphere level since we last used him, and is almost sort of ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach Kimahri Azuna, so now he's really useful. He can now inflict dark, he can scan stuff, he can lance it stuff, he can cure us of ailments, and he's going to be able to heal us soon. But what I'm going to do is give him a luck sphere here. I shouldn't have done that because he's... maybe I should have done that, maybe not, because he's not actually going to be physically attacking that much and you can't crit on magic. But whatever, and we can actually activate this luck node with the fortune sphere. So there you go, Kimahri's luck increased by 4. Really, there may be at better places you can use that. I just gave it to Kimahri because I'm feeling like he's a bit underloved right now. And yeah, I'll deal with very good stuff off screen, don't worry. Alright, so that's one Chocobo feather that's here. I don't know where Elma's supposed to be. Is she riding one of the Chocobos up there? Kind of interesting. Alright, so we will come down here. There's actually another Chocobo that gets you, a Chocobo feather, sorry, that gets you double chests on the old road too. And that's this one here. Pretty cunningly hidden. Looks almost like a dandelion or something. But it is there. Alright, so here we get a Thunder Blade. Pretty cool. I've already expressed to you guys how lightning stuff is really strong in this game. And a Scout. So Scout, we already know what that is. That's a weapon for Waka that has sensor, right? But maybe it's got extra stats on it. Maybe it's got, you know, damage plus something. So he's already got a Scout on him with Ice Strike. The new Scout has got Lightning Strike. So this is a fantastic item. Lightning Strike, again, because Waka is a swimmer. We now have, on both of our swimming characters, Lightning Strike weapons available. Definitely get this Scout. If you listen to me doing anything and you're playing along here, get the Scout and save it. It's going to help you in a lot of encounters way up through to the end of the game, and one boss fight in particular. Again, this is the kind of thing, if you were doing a no sphere grid run, I believe this is almost an essential item to collect. So yeah, the Lightning Strike is really strong. Basically, one of the hardest bosses in the game on a no sphere grid run requires you to have this weapon. And the other one was, I'm guessing it's for Auron, right? Yeah, the Thunder Blade, Piercing and Lightning Strike. But it's better than just Piercing on its own, so sure, let's equip it. If you press O, like I just accidentally did, you will dismount your Chocobo, but it stays there, you know? It's not going to move anywhere. And as long as you stay in the general area of the Mihen highroad, it will stay. And it's funny, because I could dismount my Chocobo here, walk all the way back to the entrance of Luca, then walk all the way back, and the Chocobo would still be patiently waiting for me. But if I walked into Luca and then came back, it wouldn't be waiting any longer. So, there we go. Right, that's that. Now let's go back to the new road here. We've paid a Waka, so now we know that we've got a certain amount of gil we can absolutely spend on Blitzball players, correct? Also, there are some feathers over here on the new road, which we can collect. We already spoke to Shalinda. Macon's gone, you'll see. That's kind of creepy, kind of weird that he just disappeared, but Shalinda's still stood there. So look, you got a Chocobo feather here. Make sure you grab that on the new road, and this will get you one more chest, and that's all of the loot to be had in the Mihen High Road. It's a big jump this Chocobo's got to make, though, so... Tally-hoo! Cooey! They like make a cooey noise all the time. It's my impression of a Chocobo. That's a Heat Lance, so that's a weapon for Kimari. Sounds like a Fire Strike weapon. Let's see, is there anything better than what he's already got? So he's currently got a Hunter Spear on. That's a really strong weapon, that. I mean, his Hunter Spear is better, so there's no point in equipping it. Alright, so now that we've got that feather, I'm going to go recruit some Blitzball characters and just talk to you guys in general how this works. And if you want to play Blitzball at the start of Final Fantasy X and play it throughout your adventure, these are my best recommendations for a really solid team. I've already told you guys that I'm going to be getting rid of basically all of the Aurochs. I'm going to be quite ruthless with them. I'm going to replace all of my players, and I'll show you who all the best ones are. It's funny, Blitzball's got a lot of depth, but a lot of people don't like to play it until they get to the end of the game when they have to power up Whacker and stuff. So it kind of sucks in my opinion, and it took me a while to really get to grips with who the best players were if you want to play just through your adventure. So, what you're going to want to do first of all is come to the travel agency and recruit this guy here. His name is Rop, okay? So, he is a level 5 player. You might remember from our game, basically all of the Aurochs were like level 1. Tidus got to what was it, level 3 and unlocked a technique slot, but that was like our highest. So, he's already quite a high level player. Rop... When he gets to the max level, okay, and my LP is not going to get there, that's a lot of Blitzball. But if you absolutely love Blitzball and you level your characters up, you know, within that minigame to really high, to level 100, which is max, Rop at level 100 is the absolute best defender in the entire game. The entire game. He has the highest attack stat. So defenders want really high attack so that if someone comes over, they can actually, you know, grab the ball off of them before they try and shoot. So he is the best attacker in the entire game. And it's really good if you sign him nice and early, because if you start playing Blitzball without him, other teams might end up signing him on before you can. So, he has no contract right now. He's free, which is what it says there. It also says it costs 200 gil to sign him. So if we wanted to sign him for 10 games, that would cost us 2,000 gil. Well, we've only got about 6,000 to play with right now, and we've got to sign an entire team. So instead, I'm just going to sign him for 5 games. And by the time... So that's going to cost us 1,000 gil for 5 games. So we'll do that. And he's now on the Aurochs. By the time we've played those 5 games, I should have progressed far enough in the story to event some more gil and, you know, sign him back on. So that's pretty great. Funny enough, Rin, we cannot do it right now, but Rin is also a Blitzball player. We can't scout him. Many different things will have to happen in the story before he even wants to join the Aurochs, but he is a player. It's pretty cool. So anyway, this guy here, Rop, of the travel agency. And that's our number 1. He is going to be playing left defense, is where I had him on my test file. I'll probably put him again. So we go. Chocobo's still waiting. And now what we're going to do is head all the way back to Luca. So, something interesting about the way that Blitzball is level up. There's 2 reasons why Rop is such a good player. The game is not as simple as, oh, just go collect all the best players and then just level and you're done. See, they level at different speeds, and they level their stats differently. See, Rop is such a good player because when he's level 5, he's a really good defender. Maybe not the best compared to all the players, but he's a really good one. And at the very end of the game, when he gets to level 100, he ends up with the very best stats. But there are other players of this game that start off with terrible stats, and as they level, start doing different things. So, Keeper, let's look at him, right? He's the default goalie on the Aurochs. Keeper is a terrible goalkeeper. Compared to all of the other goalkeepers you can get in Final Fantasy X, he has really bad catch. So if you want to level Keeper up, it's very difficult, and it takes a long time. You know, you're going to be losing a lot of matches because he's letting goals in that otherwise you wouldn't have to let in. However... when he gets to crazy high level, when he gets to like level 90, right? All of a sudden, Keeper just starts exploding in shoot. His shoot stat goes massively through the roof. It like explodes. And he becomes like the highest shooter in the entire game. So it's like this weird quirky little thing that if you can bear with Keeper that entire time, all of a sudden you have this insane shooter with you. That said, however... at the same time, all of Keeper's other stats stay terrible. So even at level 100, he's not necessarily a good shooter because he doesn't have any endurance. He doesn't have any pass. He doesn't have any of the other things. So he's sort of just a gimmicky, fun little thing. So anyway, there's some new people here in Luca. I tried to stop the Crusaders, but I tell you, these youngsters won't listen to anybody. This person over here says, their owner's a Crusader. I'm looking after him while the operation's going on. So talking about the dog there. He's got a cat next to him as well. Nothing you will say will sway us. The Crusaders will proceed with the operation as planned. Sure thing, sure thing. So, yeah, there's some really interesting things you have to play with here. I'm going to be getting another defender in a second, who's a strong defender, but after, like, level 20 or so, he gets outclassed by other people. So, you know, he just can't keep ahead of the game. He can't be as good as the other players as everyone starts leveling up across all of Blitzball. And eventually, you're going to want to replace him. So there is no one-size-fits-all team. There is no dream team you can have permanently, especially if you're playing the game while leveling up, and you can only get some players at some times and so forth. So here's Jamal. I talked to you guys about him multiple times. Same, he's only level 1. He's not level 5. But he has no contract. He's free. Everyone, all these are called free agents, by the way, right? Anyone who just starts the game who's not already on a team, these are free agents. And eventually they might be contracted by other groups, but still. So he costs 200 gil, the same as Rop. And he is actually a good keeper. The reason he's a good keeper isn't necessarily that he has really good catch straight away, but it's because Blitzballers all have different techniques. Titus started off with the sphere shot, right? And the jet shot, if we did well with him. Other Blitzballers start with different techniques of their own. Eventually, all the different Blitzballers end up learning each other's techniques through, like, marking one another and stuff. But it means that at the very start of the game, you want to recruit players who have great techs. So Jamal is an okay goalie, but once he unlocks some technique slots, he actually becomes really good because he's one of the only players in the game that starts with some really good goalkeeping techniques, you see? Which boosts his catch even higher and his ability to play the game, which makes him strong. This guy over here is going to be another one of our players. This is the defender I was just talking about. So we've got Rop, solid player, pretty much can be a pillar on your team the entire time. This guy here is called Zalitz. He's a fantastic defender. He's actually a bit cheaper than the other players. He's only 150 gil. But he will fall off. However, at least for early game, he's really good. I would say even maybe stronger than Rob. Now, here's the thing. You can't have more than 8 players on the Aurochs at any time, right? You can have 5 players and 3 warm in the bench. If I try and recruit him, I'm going to have 9. So I need to start releasing players. And here's where it gets kind of sad. It's impossible to release Titus. Cannot release that player, okay? So we'll try and contract him again. 5 games. So what we'll do here is we will drop him for Botta, because Botta is one of the default Auroch defenders, and he's actually okay. Jasu's worse, but okay, so let's get rid of Jasu. So there you go. Now Jasu is no longer on the Aurochs, and we've got this guy on instead. So, there's 2 ways that players can drop off of your teams. Number 1 is that you replace them like that. But number 2 is their contract expires after playing a bunch of games. And at that point, you can choose not to sign them on. And the difference between those 2 methods is really, it doesn't mean anything, except if you do it in the latter of those methods, the players will actually speak to you about how they felt their time playing on your team was. And you can get unique dialogue. So for every single Blitzball player you can scout in the entire game, there is a unique line of dialogue they will talk about if you choose to not re-sign them on when their contract expires. And it's rare to see that dialogue because, frankly, most people drop people off their team in the way that I'm doing right now. So, for example, Rop, if I play a few games, these 5 games, and then I say, I don't want you on my team anymore, he'll actually say something to me like, this was fun, but I really should be getting back to help out at the agency. And it's true that there's so many Blitzball players, and they all have their own unique dialogue. And through all the guides that I've read on this game while I was preparing my notepad file, I never actually saw a complete compiled list of all of that dialogue. So the Aurochs, they'll get really miserable and upset at you for, not signing them on, and they'll say, maybe next time you'll remember me, eh? And some of them are kind of nice, but yeah. Anyway, so I talked about this guy, Zev Ronso. He is free, he's level 1, he's only 150 gil. This guy is a Ronso. Now, the Ronso as Blitzballers have tons of health, okay? So they never really run out of health. Health's a stupid mechanic in Blitzball anyway, because, frankly, it just becomes null. But they have tons of health and tons of endurance. The catch is that they're slow. But Zev, okay, you'll notice, actually, we haven't played the Ronso Fangs at all. So our current midfielder is Letty, I think, is the default one. So we'll get rid of Letty there. So he's our new midfielder. What you want in a good midfielder is very high pass and endurance, in my opinion. Because if they the midfielder's the player that catches it after the blitz off, right? They're the one that plays in the very center. So if you win the blitz off, they catch the ball, and then the enemies are going to try and take the ball from them. So what you do is you have your guy have lots of endurance so he can break to them, and then he passes wherever he likes, and he has high enough pass that you can get the ball to your scorers or your backline guys or whatever you want, right? So he's really good. As a Ronso, he has that high endurance, and also as a Ronso, he has very high pass. He's wearing the same clothes that many of the Ronso Fangs wear. I believe you can see them on some of the other docks. In fact, it's the next dock up. Sorry, I'm running in circles here, guys. The next dock up is where you can see the Ronso Fangs. So you'll see these guys over here. And so I guess the story there is this guy used to be a member of the Ronso Fangs. There you go, they're all over here, see? He used to be a member of the Ronso Fangs, but he's not anymore. So we can try and scout them, but you'll see these guys are already on the Fangs. So we can't scout them just yet. Maybe if they leave their team, eventually we can scout them. But yeah, so he's not on their team anymore. That's sort of the idea behind it, in my opinion, anyway. But one really awesome thing about Zev is a fast Ronso. The drawback to the Ronso is they have high health, high endurance, but they're slow swimmers, very slow swimmers. So when you're playing against the Ronso, they're very defensive with the ball, they're very cagey about it, and they slowly work it up the field, or they like cheese it and they have the ball in their half for ages, and then they just throw it, they wing it all the way up the field and then score like that. But Zev is the fastest Ronso in the whole game, and he's free for you to recruit straight away. So he's got some of their benefits, but he's also lacking some of their weaknesses, which is awesome. Alright, so who else do I need to get? Let's quickly go over to the Blitzball sphere and have a cheeky little look here. Oh yeah, I know who I need to get. He's right next to us. I know. So let's cancel out this. I didn't mean to do that. So the last player we need to get is do you remember I told you guys that there's two characters guarding the stadium up here? Called Biggs and Wedge. Have that dialogue changed? Oh yeah, it's all changed now. All of Luca dialogue has changed, so you could read all of this again. He says, it took forever to fix the stands inside the stadium, but apparently they're fixed now. He says, access is no longer restricted. Feel free to enter. I didn't do this on my test file. There you go. I knew I had a memory of coming up here. This is a totally optional area, by the way, guys. There is no reason to come here ever in Luca. Oh, look, there's characters with dialogue. Ronso warriors value their horns, and the people of Luca value Blitzball. This is awesome. I did not come up here. Even with the recent Fiend scare, I can't believe how crowded it is. This guy says, the Fiends broke in all because the Crusaders ditched guard duty this year. It's all their fault. They should have been helping us instead of devising some foolish plan. We no longer have the strength to fight. Should the Fiends reappear, run for your lives. Wow, that seems kind of scary. Look at all these people. This is awesome. So yeah, the stands. There's no chests. No reason to ever come here. Literally no reason. Just for a bit of dialogue, I guess. I wonder whether the dialogue here changes as well multiple times through the story. It's crazy. Many Ronso left Luca to guard. Oh, many Ronso... What did you say? Hold on. Oh, I missed the first bit of dialogue. I think she said many Ronso left Luca to guard their home of Mount Gagaset. And now she says, throughout the long history of Yevon, this is the first time a summoner has ever been appointed Maester. Interesting. Okay. Anyone else around here that wants to have a chat? There's some people in these stands. Apparently not. So anyway, that's a cool little area of Luca. I'm sort of glad I came back to show you guys this now. That was fun for me, at least. No, I don't think you can really scout anyone here. All right, so anyway, the last player that we're going to be bringing on our team is a very interesting player. This guy over here is called Biggs. He's not very good, okay? He's got some distinctions about him, but he's not very good. This guy over here, however, is called Wedge. Wedge is a great player. 160 gil. We're going to sign him on for 5 games. And we are going to get rid of Botter now. So Botter was our other defender. Now, what's awesome about Wedge, okay, is you know how I told you that Keeper starts off as a terrible goalie and then right at the end gets all this shoot? Wedge really is one of these very versatile characters that is really good, but his position changes. So at the very start of the game, he's a striker. And I think, you know, if you think about the real sporting world as well, it's kind of interesting what goes on with this dude, right? He starts off as a striker. He's the guy that, I want to be scoring the goals, I want to be doing, and he's got great stats for a striker. He's got really good endurance, he's got really good shoot, and he's fairly quick, right? So he's really good in that position, and that's where we're going to be putting him on. It's going to be him shooting and Titus shooting together. But as he levels up, the guy as a character, he's sort of like, you know, I don't really like this so much anymore. And his other stats start to round out. And in fact, then he starts getting really good at attack. And he gets really strong pass. And now, all of a sudden, a lot of other people are much better shooters than him. And he's not so good at shooting anymore. And so, you might think, oh, I've got to get him off of my team. He can't shoot anymore. I need to put someone else on. What you can actually do is have him as a shooter. And then, later on, you can put him into your back line. So what I'll eventually be doing on this Let's Play is I'll have Wedge up there, and then after a while he will replace Zalets in the back line. So then it will be Wedge and Rop are my defenders. And even later than that, in the really high levels of the game, way later on, did she have dialogue there? No. Wedge then later on decides, actually, you know, I don't really like defending that much. I want to be a goalie. And then all of a sudden his catch score goes up, and he's a fantastic goalie at the end of the game. Not the best, so you might not want to put him in goal. But yeah, he's really cool. Like, he's got this story, and lots of characters have that kind of thing. Lots of them. Some of them just like have kind of decent stats, but they're kind of crappy for the rest of the game. One character you can only recruit at one point in the story, and after that he basically dies, and it's like you've saved his life by recruiting him. There's so much depth there. It's awesome. So anyway, let me ride one. And that's all Blitzball stuff. I appreciate that. It's not really the main story. Hopefully I've got you guys a little bit interested in Blitzball though. And every now and then when I hit a save sphere, you might find me throw up an annotation to a video, which is me. It's probably going to be between episodes. I'll just start playing Blitzball. And you'll find video where you can go and watch my Blitzball games if you like. I might do that. I'm really not sure. Maybe that would be not worth the effort. But I at least want to play one league at some point. But we've only contracted everyone for 5 games so far, and our guild's gone down, so we'll want to be cautious of that. We've got one more thing we desperately want to buy as well, a really powerful weapon that's going to be for sale soon. So we want to start building our guild back up. We've got 2,000, but we don't have to worry so much. Alright guys, I'm going to cut it way back to the start of the north of this road, and we're going to head over to Mushroom Rock.
You have to leave your chocobos here. Come on, everyone off.
Why? Why can't we have chocobos on the entire adventure? Maybe it's because Mushroom Rock is too dangerous. Okay, so let's move on up.
I'm sorry, I can't let you pass.
Oh right, yeah, we can't go anywhere.
Hey, you're a summoner, and are guardians, right? Sorry.
Whoa, what is that? Why is the dialogue bugging out like that? That's scary. That never happened on my test file. That never happened when I played the game before. I'm a little bit scared that my PS3 is on its way out. What is that? That's really scary. Okay, so don't worry about it, or tell me about the operation. Just tell me about the operation.
What, they didn't tell you? We're bringing sin spawn from Oliver Spira here. Sin spawn inevitably draws sin, right? We're going to lure it into a trap.
Oh, that was the monster that we saw. Ah, that's kind of scary.
I'm sorry, I can't let you pass.
No, I wanted to talk to that guy over there. All right, sure.
This mission, Operation Mihen, is a Crusader Albed joint mission. We Crusaders lure sin in, and the Albed strike it down. You see, Albed hates sin as much as we do. They managed to salvage ancient machina. They say they're as powerful as the mighty Aeons.
See, so this is why they're sort of casting summoners aside right now.
Well, you know, machina are forbidden by Yevon. On second thought, let's not go there. Better for you not to know. The Crusaders in Operation Mihen have all been excommunicated. My own family won't even speak to me now.
Oh, that's brutal. And he's just fighting for what he believes in.
We have to beat sin today. Otherwise, there's nowhere for us to go.
It's actually very easy to miss this dialogue, by the way, guys, because the second we step backwards, it's going to trigger a cutscene.
We have to beat...
Okay, so now it's cycling. So there you go. That's some extra stuff. I never actually saw that on my test file, so let's move back. And I guess give up? Oh, or not. But there's why they've been excommunicated. It's because they're using Machina, and they're formed up with the Albed, who aren't much liked by Yevon. Oh god, it's Seymour. Sup, dude? The Guado. Pretty ominous music here too.
So, we meet again, Lady Yuna.
Yes?
You look troubled. Is there anything I can do?
Well...
I see.
Maester Seymour, let me show you to the command center.
Hold. I have a request.
Yes, Your Grace.
I need to have Summoner Yuna and her guardians let through to the command center.
But Maester Seymour... Maester Seymour, sir.
Do not worry. I will take full responsibility.
Very well, they may pass.
Perfect example of people willing to do anything if they think someone else will be accountable.
It is done.
Oh, thank you, Your Grace.
Yuna,
It's time to go.
Oh, right.
Cool.
Who does he think he is?
He's a maester. Better get used to it, yeah?
Amazing. I like how Waka sort of has our back there and can sort of see what we're saying. Yeah, I'll give you guys one more cutscene before I'm an asshole and end the video. Possibly one of the longest videos of the friggin' series so far, but one more cutscene and then we'll say adieu.
All hail, Maester Seymour.
Brave Crusaders of Spira, protectors of all Spira. Believe in the path you have chosen. Let faith be your strength. I, Seymour Guado, Maester of Yevon, will bear witness to your deeds today.
Sir! What's going on? Why is Maester Seymour backing the Crusaders, eh? They're using Al-Bed's Machina. They're violating the teachings.
Even going against the teachings, they're willing to risk it for the greater good. Waka, I think Maester Seymour sees that too.
Lulu!
I can only speculate.
Ask him yourself.
Ah, Sir Oran. It is an honor. I would be most interested in hearing what you've been doing these past 10 years.
I've got nothing to say about it.
I see. Sir Oran must be a great asset as a guardian.
Your Grace!
Please, there's no need for formalities.
Excuse me. Maester Seymour, why is your lordship presently present here, sir?
Please, speak as you normally would.
Isn't this operation against the teachings of Yevon? Aren't you gonna stop them?
It's true. I should. However, both the Crusaders and the Al-Bed truly wish peace for Spira. This Operation Mihen was born from that wish they share. Although it may be sacrilege to Yevon, their intentions are pure. And I, Seymour Guado, the person, not the Maester of Yevon, as a denizen of Spira, I wish them well in their endeavor.
But using Machina, that's bad, isn't it?
Pretend you didn't see them.
Beg your pardon, but that's not something a Maester should say.
Then pretend I didn't say it.
You're kidding.
From the first time I laid eyes on him, I never did like Seymour. But you know, some of the things he said that day, they made a lot of sense to me.
You're damn right they did. I could totally imagine Titus believing that kind of stuff, saying the exact same thing. How hard is it just to pretend you didn't see it?